Welcome back. In this session, we will be seeing how you can write a beautiful project proposals using AI, and we will be using a technique called deep research for writing this. Now, we will be specifically mentioning the AI during the prompting phase to adhere to something called STROB checklist. Okay. Now, STROB is a standard checklist which is globally famous or famous on in most of the institutions, which is accepted by most of the institutions and universities for having an etiquette for creating an observational study. Okay. STROB stands for Strengthening the Reporting of Observational Studies in Epidemiology. And these are some of the contents in STROB checklist. This is only the initial part. So it should have a proper title and abstract. These are the instructions of how that should be structured. And there should be an introduction with these details. There should be a methodology. And there is some instructions for creating, for putting the study design, study setting, participants, and so on. So all the AI tools, they clearly know what exactly STROB checklist are. So if we specifically mention the prompt, to create the proposal in adherence to the STROB checklist, it will meticulously follow the instructions and it will create a perfect proposal. All right. Now, in this demo, we will be having a look at 5 different AI tools using their deep research mode. Okay. In this specific session, we will be looking at the deep research features of ChatGPT and Gemini for creating this proposal. In the next session, we will be looking at the deep research features of Grok, Perplexity, and Consensus for the exact same prompt. Then we will be comparing the articles created by all 5 and see which one stand out with the quality of writing, the presence of references, the authenticity, the minimal hallucinations, then the strength of the methodology, ability to identify confounders and bias, statistical analysis, and so on. Okay, so that's the idea. So let me go back to the original title and objective. So the title that we have chosen for this particular demo is one that we discussed in the previous session. So it's impact of abandoning routine gastric residual volume monitoring on feeding intolerance and NEC incidents, a comparative study across 2 tertiary NICUs in Alberta, Canada. And we also developed 2 smart objectives in the previous session using AI. So the first one is to determine and compare the point prevalence of diagnosed feeding intolerance among preterm infants who are born less than 32 weeks of gestation in an NICU utilizing routine GRV monitoring versus a NICU that has abandoned routine monitoring over a 6-month data collection period. And the second smart objective is to compare the incidence of suspected and confirmed necrotizing enterocolitis, that is Bell stage 2 or higher, between the 2 NICUs during the study period to evaluate the safety profile of abandoning routine GRV monitoring. All right, these are the smart objective. Now, for creating such a beautiful proposal, we need an elaborate prompt, right? So to convert this title and smart objective into a prompt, we are adding a small line above that. Okay, so the line is create a prompt for writing a complete proposal for the below study adhering to the STROB checklist guidelines. So we will copy everything together. Then we will be, you remember the prompt generator, right? Previously, we used the prompt generator for creating beautiful prompts, right? Especially in module 1. So we'll be using the same prompt generator. So we will be pasting this particular instruction for creating the prompt. And within a few seconds, it will come up with an elaborate prompt, which we can use in the deep research mode. Okay. So we'll wait for it to finish. So usually it will check in internet for the what are the components of the STROB checklist, and based on that it creates an elaborate prompt. So you can see it's in the RACE prompting framework. So the role the head it's activating is a senior neonatal epidemiologist and clinical research methodologist. Action is to create a full proposal. It is aligned with STROB checklist, concise 1-page executive summary, variable dictionary plus data abstraction plan, statistical analysis plan, right? Then study title, objectives has been mentioned. The assumptions has been met. So write in third person, academic clinical tone, avoid hype marketing language. Use Canadian context because the study is conducted in Canada. Do not fabricate numbers, so it should be authentic. Define exposure precisely, anticipate bias, provide a feasible 6-month project timeline. Include ethics consideration, use headings that mirror STROB items. Include a limitation section that is honest and specific plus mitigation strategies. Okay. And it's also giving the proper headings for each section. So title, executive summary, background and rationale, problem statement, objective, study design setting, participants, exposure definitions, outcomes and definition. Oh, I'm really loving the prompt. It's excellent. Outcomes and definitions, covariates and potential confounders, data sources. There are so many headings and there are some appendices also. Okay. So this will be the entire write-up. So what I will do is I will copy the prompt. Okay. Then we will go to ChatGPT itself first. Then we need to activate the deep research feature of ChatGPT. So that is located within this plus button. So when you click that, you will be seeing the option called deep research that need to be activated. So one blue colored tag called research will appear. Okay, so deep research is a mode in which instead of giving you the answer instantly, this will do a elaborate research in depth. Okay, and then we'll write some 2000 to 3000 word write up. Okay, usually when ChatGPT, when you gave such a prompt under the deep research, it will ask back some questions to you. So we had put the prompt into the deep research mode of ChatGPT, and as expected, it is asking me 3 different questions. So usually it will ask 3 or 5 questions. So the easiest way to answer is just copy the question, put back in the follow-up section, and then give the answers there. Okay. Do you want output in a downloadable format? No. Would you like any command specific neural guidelines, or should we keep references general? Keep general. Should the protocol include optional secondary outcomes like sepsis, this thing, or should these be listed left more exploratory? Or should this listed, but again put no. Okay. All right, so it starts working on this. So you can see there is one start research button will appear with a loading bar. And we will go to the Gemini also in the meantime. Paste the same prompt. No, we are supposed to paste the prompt from ChatGPT, right? So let me work there. Let me go back to the prompting part. Okay, let me copy the prompt from here. Okay, go to Gemini, paste it, and activate the deep research feature. Okay, and then run this. Now, in contrast to the questions that is asked by ChatGPT, Gemini won't be asking you any questions. Instead, it will come up with a 8 or 9 step research plan. So let's have a look at the research plan created by it. All right, it has come up with the research plan. So if you look at it, there's an 8-step process. So step 1 is research recent clinical guidelines and systematic reviews regarding the impact of abandoning a routine this thing. Then identify standard operational definitions for the various main keywords and definitions. Retrieve the STOP checklist. Okay, so this is a very nice step. It is actually retrieving the STOP checklist to see what exactly are the guidelines. Investigate the Health Information Act of Alberta and Canadian Tri-Council policy statement regarding the waiver of consent for retrospective chart reviews and the secondary use of health data. So it's giving specific to very high importance to the rules that is there in Canada regarding conducting the study. So that will be applied automatically into the protocol, which is a very nice sign. Determine common covariates and confounders in mental nutrition studies. It's mentioning a list of such items to populate the variable dictionary. Search for statistical methods appropriate for comparing incidents. Estimate typical baseline incidence rate. And finally, find standard data collection variables used by the Canadian Neonatal Network to ensure the data dictionary aligns with the regional standards. Then we click on the Start Research button. This process will take around 10 minutes. And ChatGPT's one is also progressing. Let's see. It's almost reached some 40%. It's again progressing. So we will wait for it to finish. So once it's done, so you can see here in Gemini's version, it's a circular loading icon, whereas in the ChatGPT, it's a straight line. Okay. And this one stops rotating after some time, and you will see one small loading icon appearing, and it slowly increases in size. And as the size of the circle increases, when it becomes a full 360 circle, then the entire research will complete. Okay, so we will wait for it to finish the work. It took around 5 minutes to finish the deep research, and now we are ready with the results. So let me open this up. So you can see this is the title page. It has mentioned the study title, type of study, put some space for the investigator and co-investigator. By the way, this is the ChatGPT deep research final result. Study period is 6 months. It puts some space for the funding source and date. Then there is a detailed executive summary. Then came with an introduction slash background and rationale. So it's nice, and it's coming with some reference also, reference from ResearchGate, again another from ResearchGate. So it looks cool. Okay. It's mentioning the research gap and rationale. That's a good thing. Then comes a problem statement. Okay, that's a nice one. Then significance of the study, followed by the objectives. Even though I had two objectives, it added a third secondary objective. Then came up with a research hypothesis. Then study design, it followed the strobe aligned observational comparative cohort study. Even though I planned a cross-section study, it came up with a cohort with using retrospective data. Okay, so this is exposure, comparative cohorts, data collection, temporal elements. Then study settings, it's giving me the space to insert the names of the two hospitals in Alberta. Then all the details of the hospitals. Then regarding the participant, so it came up with an inclusion criteria. Preterm infants with gestational age less than 32 weeks admitted to either Site A or Site B, NICU during the 6-month study period. Then inborn infants and transference, as long as they meet GA criteria and are in the NICU during the time frame. And there is an exclusion criteria, that is infants with major congenital gastrointestinal anomalies or other surgical conditions requiring NPO status. Good. Infants with incomplete records. Okay, so nice. Then selection criteria, workflow. Then definitions of the two conditions. Okay. Outcomes again, primary outcomes, secondary outcomes. Then it's discussing the potential co-founders, demographic or perinatal factors, illness severity, nutritional and feeding practices. Then data sources, that will be EMR, NICU flow sheets, then lab and imaging reports, administrative data. Then, okay, it's coming well. And then biases. So it's addressing the different types of bias. So we'll have the selection bias. Since we include all eligible infants from both NICUs retrospectively, selection bias can be minimized. Okay, so it's telling me how to address the selection bias. Then comes the information bias. Measurement of exposure or outcome could differ by site. Then it's giving some samples. So it's telling me like we will mitigate this by applying the same definition of feeding intolerance across sites, relying on broader criteria, not solely based on the GRV volume. Okay. Misclassification of exposure, confounding, observer or detection bias, other biases. Okay. So it's telling me which are the most common biases that can happen and how to address it. Then comes the study size and feasibility. So it's telling me like it's better to go for 50 infants per 6 months. Okay. So total for a total of 100. So let me see whether it's doing any sample size calculation. No, it doesn't have a sample size calculation. Then comes a statistical analysis plan, primary analysis, then NEC incidence, secondary analysis, subgroup analysis, sensitivity analysis. Okay. Missing data plan. Find a data management. Okay, it's so elaborate. Then ethical consideration. So it telling like we will get a waiver of consent based on the Tri-Council policy statement in Canada. Then privacy safeguards, risk assessment. Then dissemination plan, how it will be disseminated like through publications, conferences, open access, and so on. Then there's a timeline. Like month 1 to 2, it will be the startup phase. Then 2 to 4 is the data collection and Q&A phase. 4 and 5 is the data analysis, and 5 and 6 will be the reporting and dissemination. Then roles and responsibilities of the investigators and co-investigators. Finally, the budget of the program of entire project and the references. Okay, references are not that proper. Okay, so it's not citing all the articles properly. Then coming to the appendices, the stroke crosswalk table has been created. So it's telling me like which are the various categories and how the various like all of these parts aligns with the STROB checklist. Then variable dictionary table, okay. Data abstraction form, analysis shell table. So it's so complex. Okay. So overall, we got this study. And finally, at the end, once it's done, we can directly export it as a Word file and do the trimming. We may not be needing the entire thing. So we can do the data trimming. So that can be done by clicking here. And there's a download button. Click on this and you can directly download it as a PDF or as a Word. Okay. So that's regarding the deep research of proposal creation in ChatGPT using the deep research feature. Okay. Now we'll have a look at the Gemini part. So Gemini came up with a nice title, then study title, principal investigator, space to enter that. It's giving me the sample, one dummy designation for the principal investigator, then co-investigator, sponsor details, study sites, study design, and so on. Again, suggesting the cohort study design will be the better one. Then created an executive summary, just like ChatGPT. Then comes a proper background and rationale. Okay. Now here you can see it's showing references here. Okay. So there is one from MDP and another from ResearchGate. So this downward pointing arrow refers to the references. Okay. So you can see there is reference been shown here. So these are the two references given here. Physiological contraindication and emerging evidences, again with references. It's from PubMed. Then aspiration can go. So we can see a lot of references, which is a very nice sign. Then challenge of de-implementation. So there are spaces, placeholders here where we can enter the name of the two places. And problem statement followed by the significance of the study. Then my study objectives, the primary objective and the secondary objectives. So it has expanded my secondary objective into 5 different sections. Came up with a hypothesis, just like done by the one done by ChatGPT. Study design is multi-center comparative observational cohort study. STROB alignment has been explained. Rationale for the study design. So it's telling like RCT is a gold standard, but here since feeding protocols are deeply embedded in the unit culture and nursing workflow, so they're telling like cohort study design will be better. A comparative cohort design will be the better one. Then study setting. So again, it's putting placeholder to enter the name of the study. Okay. Then study design sender 2 time frame. It's given me some sample time frame. Eligibility criteria. Okay, there are 3 inclusion criteria, 4 exclusion criteria. Recruitment plan, how the participants need to be identified, and exposure definitions. Okay, very nice definitions are there. Outcomes and definitions, how exactly the outcomes will be measured. Then secondary outcomes based on the secondary objective. Then covariates and potential confounders. So this is giving, compared to the one given by ChatGPT, the Gemini is giving me a proper table with the various covariates, confounders, and rationale. Okay. And finally, data sources, data abstraction methods, different types of biases that can happen. And study size. Now this is, now we are talking, right? So we are having a proper sample size calculation with a very nice formula. And I think it's even giving us the references of using the formula. And based on that, it has done a proper sample size calculation of 79 infant per group. Okay. And it is telling like to adjust for potential clustering and missing data, it's better to go for plus 10%, and it's suggesting like it will be better if we have 100 infants per group. Okay. And there is some feasibility assessment, detailed statistical analysis plan. Okay, so this is better. In the ChatGPT one, the statistical analysis plan was very bad. Now we have a proper statistical analysis plan. It's also suggesting secondary analysis plan. Okay, then how to handle the missing data, that's also been tackled. Then how the data will be managed, quality assurance, then ethics and the waiver of consent. The same waiver of consent is also mentioned by by Gemini. And the link of how the waiver of consent is being described is also given. Okay, and knowledge translation dissemination plan, project management timeline. Okay, so there's a beautiful timeline has been created. Then the budget, it created a sample budget for me on how we need to proceed. And finally, the references. Okay. And there is a appendix on the Strobe crosswalk table. Then variable dictionary, data abstraction form has been created. Okay. So this is a nice thing. And finally, the analysis shell table. Okay. And here are the all the references. So now Gemini has given me a proper set of references compared to this is in the form of links, which can be converted into any citation style, including Vancouver, MP, or Harvard, using our Zotero. Okay. So I think Gemini has done an excellent job compared to that of ChatGPT. And once you are happy with the project, and if you want to make some editing, click on share and export button, and you will see an option called export to docs. So click on that, then wait for some time. Then what will happen is one new tab will open like this. And after some time, the entire write-up will be exported to Google Docs. Okay. So you can do the further editing in Google Docs, or you can directly download it as Microsoft Word. Okay. So you can see the entire write-up here. Okay. It's around 26 pages. So it's an elaborate write-up. So you can see all the tables and all expanded in a proper manner. And we can see all the references. So there are 43 references with links. Okay. So which can be converted into Vancouver. So we got the entire write-up in an elaborate format, which we can make more concise. Okay. So if you want to download it as a Word file, click on File, click on Download, and there is a Download as Word file option. So in that way, you can download. So between the two, between the protocol generated by the deep research of ChatGPT and the protocol created by the deep research of Gemini, I personally like the one created by Gemini. The good side is it's meticulous, it has covered everything, and it has all the sections written in a very nice manner, including the references. On the negative side, it is too elaborate, and it has falsely added some names of the sites and all, even without my like asking me like where exactly are the name. Here it's putting placeholders, but later on it's putting some names, random names of two institutions in Alberta. So which is not a nice sign. Okay, and it is too elaborate also, which I later on I need to work on this, and I need to trim down. Okay, so these are the limitation. But overall, between the two, I really like the deep research by Gemini. Now, the good thing is deep research in Gemini and ChatGPT are available for free. We don't need to have a paid plan, and you can make use of it. Okay. So that's my take on how you can create beautiful protocols on any topic using AI. Okay. Now, in the next session, I will be covering the same prompt. Okay. In 3 other tools. That is, we'll try it in Perplexity, we'll try it in Grok, and we will try it in the Consensus. All 3, I will be trying it out in the deep research mode. All right. Thank you.